Hello, Infinite Creators. Have you ever wanted to time travel? In this video, we'll talk to the higher self about timelines and how you can possibly do that. Welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Ariana and I'm a hypnotherapist, and I help you dive deep into the powers of your mind to expand your consciousness and achieve self-prosperity. Now, in this video, you will hear the higher self speak about timelines. And if you're not very versed in the concept of timelines, this might be one of those videos you may have to rewatch to understand it a bit more. And we also talk about how deja vu happens. Now, check this out.
And she wants to explain timelines and how to purposefully jump or move from one to another, kind of like they call it quantum jumping.
Yes. It is hard to explain in human terms because it's like timelines, you say like there's so many, but sometimes it really is just one. It's the same hard concept for humans to realize there are many people, but we are just one. It is like same concept like that when it comes to timeline. But one easy way I can say, for example, is when people here say you call linear timeline one straight line, today, tomorrow, whatever day you say, Thursday, Wednesday, there is that straight. You could look behind you, there's past, there's where you are, there's future. Is very straightforward for time. It has to go in a certain order. That is what it is. But that is not a real representation of how this works. In its most simplest form, in terms of quantum jump, like you ask, you need to think about it as symbol like spiral, like spiral that go like cyclone shape. So that and then you think about if you're at the point, you can jump to the other spiral to the other, in terms of just like visual representation for your minds. That is the easiest way to explain quantum jumping. But I think the concept of timeline is too much to try to get to explain altogether. But that is most basic for who will be understanding this message for what they need. That is what I will share.
And would you consider timelines as a layering process as opposed to something that's straight?
Yes. So for example, in that spiral, it could be collapsed spiral, which is that one kind of view. It depends on perspective for each of these, or you can expand that, collapse it. There are different ways that it can rotate. That is how we should visualize timelines, to be able to understand it a little bit more in the human brain. So a lot of timelines is really what we call perspective, and where you are in your own perspective of what your experience is.
And do you think that those spirals can overlap each other?
Yes. Timelines can overlap, they can merge, they can converge, they can expand, they can collapse. It is not just a simple, straightforward answer, but yes.
Interesting. And what about when someone has deja vu? Is that tied to timeline, or is it just tied to their own personal experience?
It's a mixture of both. Because, for example, in that spiral, let's just say visually, that spiral that looks like a cyclone, the way you're visualizing it, collapse into just a circle view. You're on the same level of a situation that's on that same level that has happened in one of those other brackets that collapse. That is why you get that sense of deja vu, because in a different timeline that you couldn't see before, in that spiral collapsed, you now have that view to see the other lifetimes where that occurred.
Really good way of putting it. And the concept of a Mandela effect, is that tied also with timelines where things change?
Absolutely. It's kind of that same concept. An example I give you with a little bit of twist, because not every lifetime exactly the same situation, right? So for example, if you have that collapsed view, and what your deja vu is, you and someone else had the same conversation before, right? Like what happened today. The mandala effect could mean that in one of those lifetimes, in that view you're looking at it, maybe the person was wearing a yellow shirt, and that other lifetime view, that person was wearing a red shirt. It has still happened in another lifetime, it's just slightly different. That is the mandala effect.
Okay. And I'm assuming that everything has a purpose, so things change for the purpose of creating a chain reaction for something else.
In the existing timeline that you are in, correct? That is why there is a little bit of difference in that mandala, but it is still related to timelines, correct?
Okay.
Now, I love what I do because it allows me to time travel with others using consciousness exploration. It helps me understand life a lot better. Now, my next video ties into this video, so remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we will be speaking with Nikola Tesla about multiple timelines, and you're not going to want to miss that. And until next time, Infinite Creators, wishing you all abundance, love, and prosperity.